Hey guys, I welcome you all to the live session on Tableau Full Course by Intellipaat. This session is conducted by multiple experts who will be teaching you all about Tableau from basics to advanced level. But before we begin the session, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit on the bell icon so that you will never miss an update from us.
Tableau is a powerful business intelligence and data visualization tool. It is extensively used for creating and distributing highly interactive and powerful reports and dashboards that depict the data in a visually appealing form like trends, variations, charts, graphs, plots, and so on. Tableau enables the users to do their own analysis with simple drag and drop. It helps in making better and faster decisions, which helps in business growth. On saying that, let's see the agenda of the day. Firstly, we will begin with Introduction to Tableau. Post that, we will be seeing the different products offered by Tableau. Then later on, we will be seeing how to install Tableau software. Post that, we will see how to connect data using Tableau, followed by file types and level of details. Post that, we will tell you how to build charts and graphs using Tableau. Then later on, we will see how to become a Tableau developer. What are the roles, responsibilities, skills and salary of a Tableau developer? Then finally, we have covered the difference between Tableau and Power BI, followed by Tableau interview questions and answers. So guys, this is the agenda of the video. Now let's begin.
Tableau is an interactive business intelligence software used for data visualization. It was founded by an American software company in Jan 2003. Okay. Right? And this is how the dashboard created using Tableau will actually look like. Okay, right? A dashboard is nothing but it's a collection of charts, or we also call it as a collection of worksheets. Here we have a stacked bar chart. Here we have some data which is visualized using a pie chart, right? So you place multiple sheets in one single space, and we call that as a dashboard. Okay, this is how it visually looks like. And, we'll also be very soon looking into a few examples of real-time working dashboards just to give you an idea. And we do have many other BI tools available in the market, right? Power BI, ClickSense, and so on, right? But Tableau is comparatively easier to learn, okay? The environment is user-friendly, and the processing speed with which you work in Tableau is much better compared to all the other tools. Okay, right? So Tableau stores data in the random access memory of your system. Okay, therefore the processing speed with which you work in Tableau is much faster than all the other tools that actually store data in disks. Okay, right? And Tableau is also standing right on top compared to all the other BI tools, right? So Tableau has been awarded as the best data visualization tool, and that was for the 8th consecutive year Tableau is receiving this award by Gartner Magic Quadrant for Business Intelligence and Analytic Platforms. So as per the report submitted in 2020, Tableau is receiving this award for the 8th consecutive year. Yes. Okay. And before we get into the downloading and installation part, we actually have different products offered by the Tableau software company, right? So we have Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, Tableau Reader, Tableau Public, and we have 2 more, Tableau Online and Tableau Prep. On the whole, we have 6 products offered by the Tableau software company. Okay, right? So now let's categorize these products into 3 separate categories. Okay, developer tools, sharing tools, and ETL tools. Okay, so we have 6 products offered by the Tableau software company, and I would like to categorize them into 3 different categories: developer tools, sharing tools, and ETL tools. Okay, now developer tools, as the name tells you, tools used for developing or creating dashboards, tools used for building or creating your charts. Okay, they fall under the developer tools. So we have Tableau Desktop, which is an exclusive product offered by the Tableau software company just for creating and developing dashboards, right? So Tableau Desktop is a developer tool offered by the Tableau software company. We also have Tableau Public, which is another product offered by the Tableau software company. Tableau Public is used both as a developer tool and as a sharing tool. Now, sharing tool is nothing but we develop or create dashboards which is to be shared with, either people who work in your organization or the entire public, right? So for sharing the dashboards that are developed, we will need sharing tools, right? So Tableau Public is acting both as a developer tool and as a sharing tool. Now you may have a query: when Tableau Public is being used for both developing and sharing dashboards, why do we have all the other tools? When Tableau Public is taking care of both the development and the sharing part, why do we have to have all the other tools? Right? Now, under developer tools, as I told you, Tableau Desktop is one main product which is exclusively meant for development work. Okay. Tableau Public can also be used for developing dashboards, but we do have limitations in Tableau Public compared to Tableau Desktop. Okay. We exactly have 4 differences between Tableau Public and Tableau Desktop. Okay. And at the same time, when it comes to the sharing tools. Now, when you look into sharing tools, we have Tableau Server, Tableau Reader, we have one more, Tableau Online, and again, Tableau Public can also be used as a sharing tool. Okay. Now, as a sharing tool, Tableau Public has no security at all, right? The dashboard you share using Tableau Public can be viewed and used by anyone from the public. Okay, there's no security at all. Now, when I'm creating a dashboard for some public data, let's say, for example, some for COVID data, for some weather related data, okay, or for, let's say, the metro station or the route information data, this is public data for which I'm creating a dashboard, which can definitely be shared with the entire public using your Tableau Public product. But when it comes to confidential data, let's say I work in a bank, I have my bank customer data, which is to be kept secure. Okay, so the dashboard that I'm creating for this data also needs to be secure. So in such cases, Tableau Public is not going to work because it absolutely has no security. And that's why we make use of Tableau Server and Tableau Online, which has extremely high security protocols. So only people who has the access credentials to get into the Tableau Server or Tableau Online account will have access to the dashboard published within the Tableau Server or Tableau Online account. Okay, Tableau Server is used for on-premises deployments, whereas Tableau Online is used for cloud-based deployments. Okay, right? So that's about the sharing tools. Tableau Reader used to be, the only sharing tool available for content creators in the earlier days. But nowadays, every organization either uses Tableau Server or Tableau Online, okay, right, for sharing purposes. And there's a query that we have. If we create a dashboard in public, is it visible for everyone? Now, yes, when you create a dashboard in Tableau Public, okay, you will have one particular link. When you share the link, anyone from the public can view, use your dashboard, download your dashboard, okay, right, and use it for their analysis. But when it comes to Tableau Server or Tableau Online, only people who have access to get into the server or online account where you've published your dashboard will be able to make use of it, right? So that's why we say when you are working with public data, then it's absolutely fine to go ahead with Tableau Public. When you're working with confidential data, it should be Tableau Server or Tableau Online that you are using as your sharing tool, right? So we have categorized the products into 3 headers, into 3 categories, okay, right? There's another query that does Tableau Public also exposes data? Yes, it also exposes the data. Okay, but you can choose what, how the data, how the dashboard is going to be downloaded by end users. Users can download your dashboard, download your entire workbook along with the data, or download the image of your dashboard. You have different options, right? So as a developer, you can decide what is to be shared with the user, or what is to be available in a downloadable format by the user. So we'll get into, once we are done with a few more points, we'll get into a Tableau public gallery where we have n number of sample working dashboards available. Okay, so we'll see what are the different ways you can actually download a public dashboard as an end user. Okay, right. So as we all know, we have 6 different products offered by the Tableau software company, and we've categorized them into developer tools, sharing tools, and ETL tools. So under developer tools, we have Tableau Desktop, which is the exclusive product meant for developing dashboards. Then we have Tableau Public, which is used both for developing and sharing dashboards. Okay. Under sharing tools, we have Tableau Server and Tableau Online, which are the major sharing tools. And finally, finally, the ETL tools category, we have Tableau Prep. Tableau Prep is, the product which was launched. I think that was the latest product launched. I think it was a year back or so. Okay, or more than 1.5 years back or so. It was Tableau Prep that was introduced. Tableau Prep is the ETL tool of Tableau, extract, transform, load tool, or we also call it as the preparation tool of Tableau. So if you have some cleansing work that needs to be done, okay, right? Yes, ETL stands for extract, transform, load, right? You extract data from different sources, you make transformations. Transformations is nothing but you rename some column headers, you split columns, you merge columns, you join tables, create a union between tables, filter null values. Okay, so all these kind of transformations are applied on your data, and you finally load it. Loading it in the sense you are sending in the transformed data. Okay, so basically it's known as a preparation tool. So if you have some cleansing work, you can use Tableau Prep for that, and then connect your data with Tableau Desktop or Tableau Public for the development work. But it's definitely not mandatory that you will have to use ETL. Okay, in most of the cases as Tableau developers, we receive cleansed data with which we can straight away proceed with our visualization work. But sometimes, if in case you have some modification or cleansing work that needs to be done, then you can either use Tableau Prep for that, or we do have some basic modification and cleansing tools available within Tableau Desktop itself. Okay, so you can also make use of that. We'll be going through those points as well. Okay, so that's about the different products offered by the Tableau software company. And out of all these products, our course is going to focus on Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public as a developer tool. So we are going to focus on the developer tools called Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public in our course. Okay, right? So if you've enrolled for a course of Tableau Server as well, then once we complete this course of Tableau Desktop, you'll be allotted another batch with a different trainer who will be handling Tableau Server, because it is again a 26 to 27 hour session course. Okay, so out of all these products, we are going to focus on Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public as a developer tool. Right, so we'll be discussing everything in and out about Tableau Desktop right from the scratch. We'll be going through every checkbox, every drop-down menu, every radio button, every tool available in the toolbar, everything completely in and out about Tableau Desktop. Okay, right, so what we'll do is we'll right away discuss how to download and install both Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public in your system. Okay, right? So we do have different options, different ways to download Tableau Desktop. Okay, we'll start with Tableau Desktop and then we'll get into Tableau Public. Okay, now one small suggestion that I would like to give you is, instead of proceeding right away with the very first option that I'm going to give you, as in the first way or the first option to download Tableau Desktop, instead of right away proceeding with the very first option, you can just wait for me to go through all the different options first, and finally you can decide the best one that is going to suit your requirement. Okay, so I'll get into the browser. Okay, and first we'll discuss about Tableau Desktop, right? That's the exclusive product offered by the Tableau software company, just meant for developing dashboards. Okay, so I'll just say download Tableau Desktop. Okay, you can just get into the first link that you have. Okay, I'll just get into this link, download Tableau Desktop. Okay, now Tableau Desktop is not a freeware. Okay, we have 4 different options using which you can get your Tableau Desktop, right? This is the first option. Okay, start your 14-day free trial. Okay, you can just give in your email ID and download your free trial. Okay, download the exe file and install it, which wouldn't take more than 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so this is going to, as in this free trial is going to expire after 14 days. Now, from the day you install it, okay, after 14 days, the free trial is going to expire. You wouldn't be able to use Tableau Desktop after 14 days. Okay, right? So, and let's say after 14 days, if you come back to this page and if you feel, if you try giving in a different email ID to download the 14-day free trial again on the same desktop or laptop, then it is not going to allow you to do so. Okay, because it copies your mission number. Okay, mission number in the sense the desktop or laptop where you are downloading the 14-day free trial, it copies your mission number. So only once your 14-day free trial can be downloaded in a particular desktop, or laptop. Okay, right? That's the first option. And I'm sure everyone will be able to proceed with this option, but let's wait. Okay, you needn't right away download your 14-day free trial. Let's look into the other options as well. And finally, let's decide, you can decide which is the best one to suit your requirement. Okay, that's the first option, to proceed with the 14-day free trial. The second option is that if you are working in any organization where Tableau Desktop is already in use, then you can just let the concerned person know, your higher official or your team lead, you can just let them know that you are in need of the product license activation key, or in short, we call it as the product key. Okay, right? So it's a 20 alphanumeric digit product key that you will be receiving, with which you can activate Tableau Desktop. Even after expiry, you can activate Tableau Desktop with this product key and keep using Tableau without any interruption. The first option is to proceed with a 14-day free trial. The second option is to get the product key from your organization. Okay, and keep using Tableau Desktop without any interruption. The third option is that you'll have to pay a specific tariff. It's something around $60 to $70 on a monthly basis that you will have to pay to the Tableau software company to keep using Tableau Desktop without any interruption. And the fourth and final option is Tableau Desktop for students. Okay. Now, if you are a student currently pursuing you can just say download Tableau for students and get into this link, download Tableau for students. Okay, so if you are a student currently pursuing your higher education, or if you know someone who is currently pursuing their higher education, it might be one of your friends, your siblings, your one of your family member, your cousin, your junior, anyone who is currently pursuing their higher education, you can make use of their student ID. Okay, right, with which you will get a product key from the Tableau software company. It's a 1-year free license for students. Okay, right? Just click on this tab over here. Okay, you just have to fill in some basic details like the institution name, the country, the first name and last name. I'm sorry, it's taking a little time. Yeah, so you just have to give in these details. Make sure the first name and last name matches the student ID that you're planning to make use of. And you can give in your own email ID. Okay, the date of birth should also match the student ID. Okay, and in the next page, once you click on verify status, in the next page, you will have to attach a photocopy of the valid student ID. Just click a picture of that student ID and attach it in the next page. Okay, and they just verify, okay, whether the first name and last name as well as the date of birth matches the one in your student ID, and they'll also check whether the student is currently pursuing their higher education, right? So if everything is perfect, within a few minutes, you'll be receiving an email from the Tableau software company with the product key for your student ID. So it's a 1-year free license to activate Tableau Desktop. So using this product key, you can activate Tableau Desktop, okay, and keep using it for free for the next 1 year without any interruption. Okay, right? Now, the product that you receive, whether it's a free trial version or a student version or the paid version from the Tableau software company, all these versions are absolutely the same. Okay, now it doesn't mean just because you're proceeding with a 14-day free trial, a few features are going to remain unavailable. That is not the case. Whether it's a 14-day free trial or a student version, the complete product is given to you, okay, with all the features that are going to be available, right? So you can proceed with any of these options. We have 4 options to download and install Tableau Desktop. You can proceed with any of these options depending on your requirement. The Tableau for students would be the best option because with just one student ID, you can get the product key, keep using Tableau Desktop for free for the next 1 year. And another point is that with the product key received, okay, as in with one student ID, you can use that product key in multiple systems. Around 3 to 4 systems can simultaneously use the same student ID's product key to activate Tableau Desktop. Okay, right? So these are the 4 different options. Now let's say you are able to proceed with a 14-day free trial, but you're not able to go ahead with any of the other options. So in that case, what you can do is, we always have Tableau Public in hand. So let's say download Tableau Public. You can get into the very first link and download Tableau Public. Tableau Public is an absolute freeware. You can right away download it and keep using it for free for lifetime. It's an absolute freeware. Okay, you just have to give in your email ID and download the exe file, and then you will have to install it, which wouldn't take more than 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, right? Now, though you have your 14-day free trial of Tableau Desktop in hand, what I would like to suggest you is that let's make use of the 14-day free trial. Let's save the 14-day free trial for maximum usage during the second half of our course. Okay, right? Because that is when we'll be solving our assignments. We'll be we'll almost be on the verge of completing the content part. Okay, we'll have our assignment and project work, during which you can make maximum use of the 14 days free trial when you download and install it during the second half of our course, because this course will go on for another month. Okay, right? So during the second half of our course, when we reach the mid point of our course, I'll remind you that this is the right time to download your 14-day free trial, so that for the next 14 days, you can, fetch maximum out of your free trial, okay, during the second half of our course, right? So if that's the case, if you are only able to proceed with a 14 days free trial, then let's save it for later use. As of now, you can always proceed with Tableau Public. Okay. Now, yes, Tableau Public has limitations, exactly 4 limitations when compared to Tableau Desktop, but Tableau Public is more than enough just for practice purpose during our sessions. Okay. You'll be able to understand, why we say so. Okay, we say Tableau Public is more than enough just for practice purpose during our sessions. Okay, so you'll be able to, we'll be coming across points which is going to justify this particular point. Okay, right? And the different options available to download and install Tableau Desktop as well as Tableau Public. Okay, right? So you can just proceed with the option that suits your requirement. Okay, right. So now we've downloaded Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public. So I have both in my system. So whichever you are using, okay, I'm having both. So we'll be going through both. So whichever you have, you can just start working on it. Okay. So first of all, Tableau Desktop. Now, once I've installed Tableau Desktop, when I double click on this icon, when I try to open up Tableau Desktop, this is how the start page will actually look like, right? So when you try opening Tableau Desktop, this is how the start page is going to look like. This is Tableau Desktop Professional Edition. Okay, version 2021 1.1. Now we, around 10 days back, we had version 2021 1.0. Okay, but not more than a week back or so, we had the next version 2021 1.1, which was launched. Okay, so where we very often have updates for the software that will be launched. You can update yours depending on the next version that is actually being launched. Okay, so as of now, this is my Tableau Desktop Professional Edition, the latest version available so far, 2021 1.1. Okay, now let's say, for example, after a month or after a couple of months, suppose we are having the next version 2021 1.2, which is getting released or which is getting launched. Okay, how will we come to know that yes, the next version has been launched? Okay, right? So whenever, suppose after a couple of months, you have 2021 1.2, which is being released, your start page will have a small pop-up in your right hand bottom corner. Okay, there'll be a small orange color pop-up in your right hand bottom corner, which will tell you we actually have 2021 1.2, the next version which has been released. Update yours to the latest version that we have released right now. So that pop-up, just by clicking on the pop-up, you can update your software to the latest version available. Okay, right? So that's about Tableau Desktop Professional Edition. Okay, and let's open up the start page of Tableau Public as well. Okay, this is how the start page of Tableau Public looks like. It's Tableau Desktop Public Edition, or in short, we call it as Tableau Public. Okay, and now, as you can see, I have my previous version 2021 1.0 of Tableau Public. I still haven't updated mine. As you can see, I just wanted to show you, this is how in my right hand, in the right hand bottom corner of your screen, okay, of the start page, this is how an orange color pop-up will appear when you have the next higher version which is being released. Okay, it says update to 2021 1.1 now. So it says the version that you are using is an older version. We do have the next higher version which has been released, 2021 1.1. Update yours just by clicking on this pop-up. Okay, so that's how you will be informed, or you'll be able to, you'll be getting to know about the next version that has been released by this pop-up. Okay, right? So this is Tableau Public or Tableau Desktop Public Edition that I have in my system. Okay, right. So that was the start page of Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public. And now looking back, into the Tableau Desktop start page, as I told you, now that we have the software in hand, now the basic requirement, as in how you can start working with Tableau, is that you should have your data in hand. Okay, data in hand is nothing but your data should either be in the form of an Excel file, PDF file, text file, or present somewhere outside your system in any cloud or server, like as a Google Sheet. Your data might be present as a database in an SQL server, Oracle, SAP, Salesforce Cloud. You might have your data anywhere, okay, but you can very easily connect it with Tableau with a few simple steps. Okay, but you should have your data in hand. Only then it can be connected with Tableau, and Tableau is letting you or helping you visualize your data, okay, in its environment. Okay, so Tableau is nothing without data connectivity. Nothing can be done with Tableau without data connectivity. It purely depends on the data, right? So you should have your data in hand. Only then it can be connected with Tableau. Okay, now when you look into the start page, in your left side pane, we have the connect pane where you have different file types. So you can connect Excel files, text files, JSON files, PDF files. Any file which is locally present in your system can be connected with Tableau. And similarly, when you click on more, you have the complete list of databases from where data can be connected with Tableau.
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of Tableau by answering this question. Which of the following is not a trend line model? A. Linear trend line. B. Exponential trend line. C. Binomial trend line. D. Logarithmic trend line. Comment your answer in the comment section below. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the right answer. Now, let's continue with the session.
Right, so Tableau Desktop supports more than 50 types of databases from where data can be connected with Tableau. Right, so let it be Oracle, let it be Google Sheet, let it be SQL Server, SAP HANA, Salesforce, wherever, or Snowflake, wherever your data might be, you can very easily connect it with Tableau. Okay, right, that's about the start page of Tableau Desktop. But when you look into the start page of Tableau Public, okay, as you can see, these are the only file types from where data can be connected with Tableau Public. Okay, right, now what does this mean? This is the first difference between Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public. This is the limitation that we have in Tableau Public. Tableau Public is limited to data. Okay, databases from clouds or servers cannot be connected with Tableau Public. Okay, right? So databases from an SQL server or any cloud, any server cannot be connected with Tableau Public. It is limited to data, but just for practice purpose during our sessions, Tableau Public will be more than enough. So no worries about it. Okay, so if you have only Tableau Public, no worries, because just for practice purpose during our sessions, during our course, Tableau Public will be more than enough. And during the last 15 days, during the second half of our course, you can make use of your 14-day free trial version of Tableau Desktop. Okay, right? So that's the first difference between Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public. Okay, right. So we have the software in hand. We also have a few sample data sets in hand, right? So now these sample data sets that that I'm going to use today, as well as in our upcoming session. Now we have a lot of files, that you will be receiving for reference purpose, like some crisp notes for every topic. Okay. Sample data sets that we will be using for every topic. Okay, all these data sets and sample files, as in files for reference, notes, everything will be uploaded in the Intellipaat portal. Okay, again, along with the recorded session. Okay, right. So I do have a few sample data sets, but before we start connecting the data sets with Tableau, I would like to show you how a real-time working dashboard created using Tableau actually looks like. Okay, right? So you can just get into your browser and say Tableau Wiz Gallery, Tableau Visualization Gallery. Okay, and you can just get into Tableau Wiz Gallery, where you have n number of sample dashboards that are published. You can just go through them whenever you have time. Okay, but as of now, I would like to go through one simple sample dashboard, just to give you an idea. This is how a working dashboard created using Tableau actually looks like. Okay, and this is what we are moving towards, and this is what you will be able to create using Tableau by the end of this course. Okay, right? So it's the dashboard of District of Columbia crime spotting. Okay, it's taking a little time to load. Yes, here we have the dashboard. Now, first of all, what is a dashboard? Dashboard is a collection of worksheets, right? So here we have one worksheet where data is visualized using a map. We have another worksheet over here where data is visualized using a chart known as a tree map. Okay. And over here, this is worksheet number 3, where data is visualized using a bar chart. Okay. Right. So placing such worksheets in a single space is known as a dashboard. There's no limit. You can place any number of worksheets within a dashboard. That's all up to you. That's all up to the developer. You have the complete freedom. You can choose any type of chart to visualize your data. You can choose the colors using which your data is going to be visualized. Everything can be customized, right from the label, right from the font size, font color, background color of your chart, label, everything right from the scratch. Everything about your worksheet and dashboard can be customized in Tableau's workspace. Okay, right. So now this is just a random dashboard that we are, planning to work with. This dashboard was actually published in the Tableau Wiz Gallery, and we are just a random user of it. Okay, right. So now it's very important for a dashboard to be interactive in nature. What do we mean by interactive in nature, and what way it is going to be useful? Okay, right. So now you have a drop down menu over here known as in for crime types, right? So you have the complete list of crime types that is available in your data. But as a common user, I would like to analyze data as per my requirement. Okay, I would like to focus only on relevant information. Okay, right. So let's say out of all these crime types, I would like to analyze more about robbery and theft. Okay, right, robbery and theft. These are the 2 boxes that I'm checking. So I would like to analyze more about only robbery and theft. I'm planning to focus only on these 2 crime types related data. So the entire dashboard has been updated, okay, such that it gives information only about robbery and theft. So as per my requirement, I am able to analyze data, okay, with the help of this drop down menu known as a quick and interactive filter. So using such options, I am able to analyze data as per my requirement I'm able to interact with the dashboard using this drop-down menu, and data is quickly getting filtered depending on your selection. Okay, right? So we call this as a quick and interactive filter. Similarly, we have another quick and interactive filter for districts as well. Okay, so we have around 7 districts related data. You can choose the one, you can choose the ones whose data is to be displayed inside your dashboard. So I would like to know more about the 3rd, 4th, and the 7th district. Let me just check. Yeah, so 3rd, 4th, and 7th district. These are the 3 districts related data I would like to focus on, right? So what's happening is the complete dashboard is getting updated such that we have data only corresponding to these 3 districts. So depending on my selection, okay, as you can see, the dashboard has been updated. It gives information about the 3rd, 4th, and the 7th district. So the complete dashboard is getting updated. Okay, as per my selection. Okay, so anyone who is using your dashboard should be able to analyze data as per their requirement. Okay, and that's where that's why we call it as an interactive dashboard, and that's why we say that's the main purpose of why we create a dashboard, right? As a Tableau developer, you develop your dashboard and publish it into the sharing tools. So people who work in your organization, your higher officials, should be able to analyze data as per their requirement, okay, for which such interactive features are supposed to be used in a dashboard. So that's why we say when you're creating a dashboard, make sure it is creative, insightful, as well as interactive in nature, because anyone who is using it should be able to analyze data as per their requirement. So we have a lot of features which can add interactivity to your dashboard. This is known as a filter. Okay, we have filter, which is a major topic that belongs to module number 2. Okay, and here we have the color key, or in Tableau, we call it as the color legend. Okay, it is telling you which particular color is used for representing which particular crime type. Okay, right? So that's about, and we have many more features like parameters and actions, which can also be inserted in a dashboard to make it interactive in nature. Right? So this is just a sample dashboard, sample working dashboard created using Tableau. Okay, so that's about the working dashboard. And now let's start connecting data with Tableau. Okay, I have my software, I have a couple of sample data sets in hand. So let's see how data can be connected with Tableau. No matter where the data is, let's discuss how data can be connected with Tableau. Okay, so first of all, to start with, I have a sample data set called Sample Superstore. Now, this is just a very simple Excel file provided by the Tableau software company themselves. This data set is prepared and provided by the Tableau software company themselves. Okay, right? It's a very simple Excel file where you have 3 sheets: orders, people, and returns. Okay, 3 sheets within Sample Superstore, out of which orders is the major sheet because we have a total of 9,994 rows in orders Excel sheet, right? So this is the Excel file that we have in hand. So let's connect this with Tableau. So I have my software in hand. I also have my data set in hand. Why wait for? Let's start connecting the data set with Tableau. Okay, so now we have the Tableau software in hand. Next, we also have a data set in hand called Sample Superstore, which is just a very normal Excel file. Okay, now I am planning to create a dashboard or analyze data that belongs to this Excel file. And when you have this kind of a table, it's going to be really tedious and time consuming to fetch information that you're actually in need of. Okay, right? So what we'll do is let's connect this data with Tableau. So this is my start page. Okay, so my data is in the form of an Excel file, right? So you have this option called Microsoft Excel in your start page under Connect, just click on Microsoft Excel and you get a dialog box. Okay. Right. So in my start page, okay, I have Microsoft Excel. So my data is in the form of an Excel file, right? So I'll click on Microsoft Excel. You get a dialog box which appears. You just have to get into the folder, right? You have to browse your sample superstore, as in your Excel file might be present in any folder within your system, right? So just get into the folder, click on the file. We have these many files under my Tableau sample folder where I have my Excel file called sample superstores. Just click on it and then click on open. And that's it. Within a few seconds, you'll be directed to a page, okay? And this page is known as the data source page. You can just look into the left-hand bottom corner of your screen, okay? It'll tell you, as in the name of this page is specified right here, the data source page, okay? Now, one very important point is that no matter from where you're connecting your data with Tableau, no matter, whichever file you are connecting your data with Tableau, the moment a connection is established, you'll be immediately directed to this page known as the data source page. Okay. The way you connect your data from different locations will have slight differences between them. For example, the way you connect an Excel file will slightly be different from the way you connect a PDF file with Tableau, which in turn will slightly be different from the way you connect a Google Sheet with Tableau, right? So the way you connect your data from different locations will be slightly different from each other, but once connected, yes, once the data set has been connected with Tableau, you'll immediately be directed to this page known as the data source page. So right from here,
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Tableau online training and certification course mentored by industry experts. The course link of which is given in the description below. Now, let's continue with the session.
the way you work on the data, the way you proceed with your charts and dashboards, the way you work in Tableau's workspace will absolutely be the same no matter where the data is being fetched from. Okay, right? So and this is my data source page, right? So just right next to this tab known as data source in my left hand bottom corner, you have a button or a tab known as sheet number 1. Okay, this is the worksheet space where we'll be building our charts and graphs, right? So once you are into the data source page and also inside your worksheet space, you'll not be able to differentiate as of where your data is actually being fetched from, because the way you work in Tableau, no matter where the data is from, will absolutely be the same. And that's why we say, when it comes to Tableau Public, it's definitely more than enough just for practice purpose during our sessions, because though Tableau Public is limited to data, though databases from servers or clouds cannot be connected with Tableau Public, still, once you get into the workspace, the way you work in Tableau is absolutely going to be the same. So you can simply have your Excel file and start practicing with Tableau Public, okay? Because the workspace, getting familiar with the workspace is more important, okay? And that's the same no matter where the data is being fetched from, right? So that's why we say Tableau Public is more than enough just for practice purpose during our sessions. So by clicking on the data source tab in my left-hand bottom corner, you can again get back to your data source page. Okay, so as you can see, sample superstore is the file which is connected with Tableau. It's a Microsoft Excel file. Okay, and you have orders, people, and returns. So I hope you remember my actual Excel file has 3 sheets: orders, people, and returns, right? So these 3 sheets are brought into the data source page of Tableau: orders, people, and returns. Now, you may have a query. Why do we have it twice in the data source page? Okay, I'll tell you why. Now, first of all, this, these, as in the first three uh, sheets, orders, people, and returns, with a small table like icon right next to them, they are the actual sheets fetched from Sample Superstore. Whereas the next three with this kind of a, something like a card like symbol right next to it, they are known as named ranges. Okay, so named range is something that can be created in an Excel environment. Okay, I'll tell you what's a named range all about, how to create a named range, and what is the purpose of having named ranges. Okay, right. So the Excel sheets that we have, orders, people, and returns. Okay. So now when I simply go into sheet number 1, there's no data in hand. As you can see, I should have some fields in hand with which I can, Tableau uses the drag and drop technology. So I'll be dragging and dropping my fields into the rows and column shelf, based on which a chart will be created. But there's nothing in hand right now. So though you've connected Sample Superstore with Tableau, there should be at least one sheet or table placed into this space of our data source page. Only then you will have data to build charts and graphs inside your worksheet. Okay. Now the data source page is actually divided into two halves, right? The upper part is known as the canvas area and the lower part is known as the view area. Now we'll have a lot of new terms that you will be, that will be getting into your head today, right? A lot of new terms that we'll be coming across today. Okay. But no worries, you needn't have to strain much because we'll be using these terms almost every day in our future sessions. Okay, so we'll be using it almost every day. We'll be referring to points with these terms very often. Okay, so gradually you'll pick up those terms, you'll get familiar with them. Okay, right? So no worries about it. This is day number 1, uh, it may seem that we have so many new terms to get into your mind to remember as such, but no worries, as we'll be using them almost in every session. Okay, right. So data source page is what we are directed to. Once the data has been connected, your data source page is divided into two halves. The upper part is known as the canvas area and the lower part is known as the view area. Okay, so at least one table should be dragged and dropped into the canvas area. Okay, uh, to proceed with your analysis, to start building your charts and graphs, right? So let's drag and drop orders into the canvas area. So during which what will happen is the moment I drop it, the corresponding data will be brought into the view area, right? So my orders sheet is having row ID, order date, ship date, and all these fields with all these rows of data. Okay, so my view area in the data source page is also having these columns and rows. Okay, right? And why do we call it as a view area? There's one particular reason why we call it as a view area. Okay, now you cannot touch your data in Tableau. Touch your data in the sense you'll not be able to edit your data in Tableau's workspace, right? No addition of new rows, no deletion of existing rows, no ways to edit or make changes to your data as such. You cannot touch your data in Tableau's workspace. For example, if I'm planning to, make a small change in this customer name or the customer ID as such, okay, I will not be able to make this change from Tableau's workspace. I'll not be able to delete any particular row or add a few rows. Nothing can be done to your data from Tableau's workspace because Tableau is just a front end tool acting as a mirror which is reflecting your data that actually belongs to its original location. Okay, right? So, just by connecting sample superstore with Tableau, it doesn't mean that we are literally fetching the data or bringing the data into Tableau's environment. That is not the case. Okay, by connecting data with Tableau, it means we are viewing the data. Tableau is acting as a mirror, which is reflecting the data that actually belongs to sample superstore Excel file. Okay, right? So we are just able to view the data through Tableau's workspace, build charts and graphs with the help of it. Okay, so if in case you're planning to make changes to your data, all you have to do is go all the way back to your original data set, make all the necessary changes, add rows, delete rows, make changes to existing rows. Okay, all those updates will then be reflected into Tableau's workspace. Okay, right? And it is not going to be automatically reflected. We will have to click on a button called refresh. Okay, so I'm just going with this flow one step at a time, right from the basics. Okay, so that you'll have a strong foundation, a better understanding of everything that we are coming across. Okay, right? So that's why we call it as a view area. So the canvas, the data source page is divided into two halves. The upper part is known as the canvas area and the lower part is known as the view area. Okay, so there's another query. Can we add custom query here? Okay, so you mean to say SQL queries as such, because when you're pulling data, when you are connecting database from an SQL server, okay, that is when you can make use of custom SQL queries to pull data. Okay, but it is again optional. It's not compulsory that you should have SQL query knowledge in order to work with Tableau. It's all up to you. If you want, you can pull data using custom SQL queries, or you just have to drag and drop the tables into the canvas area directly, right? We do have options. Now, when we will also be discussing about connecting a database from an SQL server, during which I'll tell you how. If in case you're planning to make use of SQL queries to pull data, we do have options for that as well. Okay, we'll definitely look into it. Okay, right. So this is how you connect any Excel file with Tableau. Okay, drag and drop. You'll have once a successful connection has been established, you'll be directed to your data source page where you will have the sheets that belong to sample superstore brought into the data source page, and you just have to drag and drop them into the canvas area so that the corresponding data is brought into the view area. And now when you go into sheet number 1, okay, you have the fields that belong to orders of sample superstore listed out in an alphabetical order. You can just drag and drop them inside your worksheet to build your charts and graphs. Okay, so that's about connecting any such Excel file with Tableau. And now coming back to the named ranges. Okay, as I told you, the first three, as in the names with the table names with a table like icon right next to it, they are the sheets that belong to sample superstore. Whereas the next three over here with this green color card like icon right next to it, they are the named ranges. Now, what is a named range all about? Named range has nothing to do with Tableau's environment. Named range cannot be created in Tableau's workspace. It is something that has to be created in your Excel environment. Okay, right? So I'll just get into a sample Excel file that I have in hand. Okay, I'm just getting into a sample Excel file. Now, this is my sample Excel file with two sheets, the customer sheet and the sales sheet. These are the two Excel sheets that I have. Okay. Now, I can create a named range. It's not compulsory. It's definitely optional. Okay. It's purely optional. Named ranges are subsets of your table. They are subset tables that you create in an Excel environment based on your requirement. Okay. Now, named range is nothing but you just have to, drag and select a set of continuous range of cells. Okay, let's say I would like to drag and select a set of continuous range of cells, and you can define a name for the selected continuous range of cells, and that's why we call it as a named range. You select a range of, as in a continuous range of cells, and you define a name for that, so that becomes a subset table that you are actually creating, known as a named range. Okay, now you'll not be able to select row 1 and row 4 because it should be a continuous range of cells that you are selecting. Okay, and click on the name box.
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of Tableau by answering this question. What are the components of a dashboard? A. Horizontal. B. Vertical. C. Image extract. D. All of the above. Comment your answer in the comment section below. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the right answer. Now, let's continue with the session.
Get into manage names and you get your dialog box. Click on add. So I am adding a named range. This is the range of cells that I've selected. Okay, and I'm defining a name for it. Let's say, for example, my sample range. Okay, so I'm just selecting my sample range. I mean, I've defined my sample range as the name for this continuous range of cells. Okay, right? So that's about creating a named range. So when you've created a named range, okay, just save the changes. Click on file and make sure you're saving the named range that you just now created. And then when you connect this file with Tableau, along with the Excel sheets, okay, along with the Excel sheets, you will also have those named ranges listed out in your data source page. Okay, now why do we have the Excel sheets and the named ranges which are named exactly in this particular data set? Okay, right? Because as I told you, Sample Superstore is something that is created by the Tableau software company themselves. Okay, right? So they're just trying to tell you whether it's an Excel sheet or a named range, both are treated as tables by Tableau, which means whether you drag and drop an Excel sheet or a named range, both are going to be treated as tables by Tableau. So you can proceed with your analysis using an Excel sheet or a named range in your canvas area. Okay, so named ranges are to be created in an Excel environment. It has nothing to do with Tableau's workspace. If in case you have a named range created in your Excel file, then that is just going to be reflected in Tableau's workspace. Okay, you can drag and drop your named range and proceed with your analysis, just like how you drag and drop your Excel sheet. Okay, so both are treated as tables by Tableau. Both are treated equally by Tableau, and that's why they are named. They've given similar names for Excel sheets and named ranges, just to indicate that Tableau treats both of them as tables. Okay, right? So that was about the named range. So this is how you connect any such Excel file with Tableau. Click on Microsoft Excel. Okay, then you'll have a dialog box. Browse, get into the folder wherever you have your Excel file, get into the folder and select the file that you are planning to connect with Tableau. Okay, that's about Excel file connectivity. Now next, what if we are going to have data in a PDF file? How is Tableau going to connect data from a PDF file? Okay, right. And there's another query. Will the named range option in Tableau only visualize the data for the selected rows and columns? Definitely yes. Now I have created a named range. What is my named range? My named range is going to contain only the selected rows and columns. It's a subset table that I'm creating, right? So this is only going to be the rows in my named range table. Okay, now I'll give you one particular scenario where we normally use named ranges. Okay, so let's say, for example, I have around 1 million rows in my data set. Okay, now when I connect my Excel sheet, as in when I use my Excel sheet with, let's say, at least around 20 to 30,000 rows. Okay, the time taken for a chart to be created is going to be time consuming, right? So in that case, what you can do is to improvise your processing speed. You can create a named range with only the first 100 or first 1,000 rows of your Excel sheet. Create a named range. Use this named range to build your charts and graphs. Okay, and finally you can replace the named range with your actual Excel sheet. They are anyways going to have, my named range is containing the first 100 rows, for example. Okay, so I'll have my column headers, which is going to be similar with my Excel sheet as well. So, to improvise the processing speed, to make your work easier, you are creating subset tables, okay, in the form of named ranges. Okay, right? So that's about a named range, and it has to be created in an Excel environment. It has nothing to do with Tableau's workspace. Tableau is just reflecting. If your Excel file has a named range, it is going to reflect it in the data source page. Else, it's only the Excel sheets that are going to be brought into the data source page. Okay, right. So next, what if my data is present in a PDF file? Okay, so now I have a PDF sample right here where we have some data, and we have some data which is present in a tabular format. Then again, we have some text over here. And similarly, in the next page, we have some text, and we have another set of data which is represented in a tabular format, right? So now let's connect this PDF file with Tableau, and let's see what is Tableau going to fetch into the data source page. Okay, and again, in your start page, it's going to be a PDF file that we are planning to connect. So click on PDF file under your connect pane in the start page. Okay, so again, you have a dialog box. Get into the folder wherever you have your PDF sample, get into the respective folder, click on the file that you're planning to connect with Tableau, and then click on open. So now, before you are directed to the data source page, you have this dialog box which appears. It says scan PDF file. Specify the pages to scan for data. Okay, now what Tableau is going to do is, Tableau is going to scan your PDF file, and from your PDF file, it is only going to look for data present in a tabular format. Okay, right? Tableau is not going to bring in the data which is normally present in a in a textual format as such. It is only going to look for data present in a tabular format. Okay, right? So you will have to tell Tableau, specify the pages to be scanned by Tableau. You have 3 radio buttons over here. You have 3 options: all, single page, and range. Okay, right? Now all is nothing but you can tell Tableau to scan all the pages in your PDF file. Okay, or let's say, for example, you have 1,000 pages in your PDF file, and the table that you are in need of only belongs to page number 20. So in that case, instead of telling Tableau to scan all the 1,000 pages, okay, which is going to be time consuming, and it is going to fetch all the unnecessary tables from all the other pages, and your data source page is going to look clumsy. Okay, so to make things clear, to to fetch only one particular table from one particular page in your PDF file, you can clearly tell Tableau, I have a table in page number 20. So what Tableau is going to do is it will straight away get into page number 20, scan page number 20, and bring in the table into your data source page. Okay, right? So that's how you tell Tableau to scan one single page from your PDF file. Okay, and you also have the next option called range, where you have start page and end page. Okay, right? You can tell Tableau. Now let's say you have 3 to 4 tables in your PDF file in page number 20, page number 22, page number 28, and page number 29. Okay, right? So these are the 4 tables that I'm planning to bring inside the data source page of Tableau to proceed with my analysis. Okay, so in that case, there's no point in again scanning all the 1,000 pages, which is going to be time consuming. And I have 4 pages where my tables are present, so I'll not be able to use my single page option, right? So in that case, I can tell Tableau, start scanning from page number 20 and stop scanning at page number 30. So this particular range of pages starting from 20 to page number 30 is going to be scanned, and data present in a tabular format from these pages are going to be brought into the data source page of Tableau, right? And when you are specifying page numbers, okay, you just have to, make a note of this point right here. Okay, yes, the scan counts the first page of the file as page 1 and ignores the page numbering used in the file. Now, what does this mean? Okay, the scan counts the first page of the file as page number 1. Okay, so let's say I have a set of 5 pages in my PDF file. The page numbering, okay, as you can see, the page numbering, it starts from 51 to 55. So these are the 5 pages in my PDF file. So if I would like Tableau to scan the first page, I shouldn't specify the page numbering as 51. Okay, I will have to specify the position of the page in my PDF file. Okay, right? So that's about it, right? So I hope you're getting this point. We have to specify the position of the page. Now, though the page numbering is 51, that's the first page in my PDF file. Okay, right? So you'll have to look into the toolbar over here, right? So Tableau scans or counts the first page of the file as page number 1 and ignores the page numbering used in the file, right? So if you would like to tell Tableau, as I have a set of 5 pages, I have the page numbering that I have is 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55. That's my page numbering. Okay, but in this PDF file containing 5 pages, right, the first page is counted as page number 1. So if I would like the second page to be scanned by Tableau, though the page numbering is 52, I will have to tell Tableau to scan page number 2. Okay, so that is what you'll have to remember when you are specifying page numbers to be scanned by Tableau for data. Okay, now in our case, we have only 2 pages. So I'm just telling Tableau to scan all the pages, right? So click on OK, and within a few seconds, you'll be directed to the very same page known as the data source page, right? So as you might have noted, the way we connected our Excel file was slightly different. The way we connected our PDF file, we just had this small dialog box, okay, known as scan PDF file dialog box, and after which we were directed to the very same data source page. Okay, right? So that's about connecting a PDF file with Tableau. Okay, right? So yes. Next we'll see, yes, now that we've connected the PDF file, I have page 1, table 1, page 2, table 1. Now when you look into my PDF file, we have this table, page 1, table 1, and similarly page 2, table 1. Now what if I have more than one table in a PDF file? It's going to be named as, or it is going to be, as in the naming convention is going to be like page 1 table 1, page 1 table 2, page 1 table 3, and so on, right? So that's about the PDF naming convention of tables. Okay, now that the PDF sample 1, which is a PDF file, has been connected with Tableau, let's drag and drop the tables into the canvas area, and let's look into the data. Let's in the view area. Okay, so this is how the table looks like. Now let's compare it with the table that we have in our PDF file. Now when you compare these two, okay, right, as you can see, number of coils and number of paper clips is actually supposed to be the column header. Okay, but it has been it has not been identified as column headers by Tableau. It has been identified as a part of our data. Okay. Similarly, short circuits is my column header, but short circuits is actually a text which appears above my table. Okay. So by mistake, while scanning, Tableau has also scanned, it has assumed this particular text to be a part of my table and brought into my data source page of Tableau. So whenever you're scanning data from a PDF file, we will definitely have these kind of issues that we will be facing. Okay, right? So we will have to rectify them before we get into our worksheet. To proceed with our analysis work, we will have to rectify them. Okay, now you have this checkbox over here known as data interpreter. Okay, data interpreter is helping us to detect unnecessary things in the data like titles, stack headers, some notes, empty rows or cells in your data, right? Column headers which are not being identified properly. All such issues are automatically detected by the data interpreter. Okay, and it is going to bypass such unnecessary things and help you convert the data into a format with which it can be connected with Tableau, as in it can be, proceeded with your analysis work in Tableau. So basically, data interpreter is helping you clean your workbook. Okay, clean your data, right? So let's check this box. It says use data interpreter. We've checked the box, and within a couple of seconds, it has been changed to cleaned with data interpreter. As you can see, you have number of coils and number of paper clips which are properly identified by the data interpreter. Okay, so that issue has been resolved. But still, we have short circuits, which is being a part of our column header, which is actually not right. Okay, we will still have to get rid of short circuits from our column header. Okay, right now, most of the issues are going to be resolved by the data interpreter, but sometimes we may have issues even after using the data interpreter. So how are we going to rectify them? We will have to rectify them manually only, right? Now, in this case, I'm planning to get rid of short circuits. So I'll have to rename my column header. Just click on the drop down arrow and the first option says rename. There's this drop down arrow available on top of every column header. Okay, and the very first option says rename, or you can also double click directly on the column header to start editing it. Okay, right? So number of coils and number of paper clips. So they are my column headers. Now the table looks perfectly fine as it is from my PDF file. Okay, right? So that's about rectifying the issues using my data interpreter. Okay, and sometimes if you face if you have issues even after using the data interpreter, you can always rectify them manually. Okay, right? So we normally face a lot of issues. Now this was a very small table and we were able to quickly rectify the issue, but whenever you're connecting data from PDF files, we will definitely have n number of issues, just like the ones that we faced right now, which are to be rectified using the data interpreter. And even after using the data interpreter, we will have to go through in case if we have some issues, we will have to rectify it manually. Okay, right. So that's how you connect a PDF file. You get your scan PDF dialog box, using which you connect your PDF file with Tableau. You specify the pages to be scanned for data by Tableau, and then you'll be directed to the data source page. Okay. Now, the next point is that, okay, so now though we have a lot of issues that are to be rectified, we've used okay, there's another query. By manually, you mean editing data in the original PDF file? No, not at all. Now, as you can see, this was how the table looked like. Now, my original data file is actually having a table which looks perfectly fine. But the issue is about scanning by Tableau. The issue is all about scanning by Tableau. When Tableau is scanning only, we are facing these kind of issues. But but as in the data in my original file looks perfectly fine. Okay, so this issue is taking place only during the scanning process. Okay, right. So that issue or these issues are to be rectified by using data interpreter, and then such kind of issues with the column header are to be rectified manually. Now I have a table which looks perfectly fine, just like the one I have in my PDF file. Okay. Now the next point is that, okay, so we've rectified all these issues, and now you can straight away get into your worksheet and proceed with your analysis, right? Okay, but let's say I am planning to use this table very frequently in future for my analysis purpose. Okay, right? So every time I'm planning to work on this table, I'll have to connect it through my PDF file, rectify these issues from the scratch, and then proceed with my analysis, which is definitely going to be tedious and time consuming. Okay, very often I'm planning to work on this table. So every time if I connect the table through my PDF file, I'll have to go through all these steps right from the scratch, which is definitely going to be time consuming, right? So what you can do is we have this option of exporting the table into a CSV file, right? So what we can do is straight away get inside your worksheet space. Okay, right click on your data source name, and then it's a right click. Okay, we have the data source name right here. Okay, just right click on it, and you have this option called export data to CSV. Okay, page number 1, table 1 is what is going to be exported into a CSV, character delimited file, or we also call it as a comma separated file, right? So I'm exporting my table into a CSV file. Why exporting into a CSV file? Because that's the simplest file type from where data can be connected with Tableau. Okay, so let's call it as sample CSV. Okay, I'm saving it in my desktop. Okay, I'm exporting the table from a PDF file into a CSV file. Okay, right? So now you get your CSV file right here, the one that we just now created. Let's open it up with a notepad, and you'll be able to see how data and column headers are separated using commas. Okay, right? So that's my sample CSV. Okay, so we just now went through how to connect a PDF file with Tableau, and you get a dialog box from where you'll have to select your PDF file. Then you get a scan PDF file dialog box where you'll have to specify the pages that are to be scanned by Tableau, and Tableau is particularly looking only for data present in a tabular format. Okay, right? So, and those tables are brought into the data source page to proceed with your analysis. And we normally face a lot of issues during the scanning process, which can be rectified with the data interpreter. Okay, and sometimes even after using the data interpreter, we may have some issues which are to be rectified manually only. And after rectifying all those issues, you can export your table. Now, you needn't make these modifications again and again right from the scratch every time you're working on the data. Okay, so you can right click on your data source name in your worksheet space, get into export data to CSVs. That's how you export your data into a CSV file, right? Okay, now exporting all the tables at one go is not possible. You will have to drag and drop the tables into your canvas area, and you can only export one table at a time into a CSV file, right? And it's not only table from a PDF file which can be exported into a PDF file. Any table from any data set, let it be a sheet from an Excel file, okay, or a sheet from a data, as in a sheet, a table from a database in any server or cloud. Any table can be exported into a CSV file, but not the complete database or the complete sheets from an Excel file can be exported. You have to export it only one table after another. Only one table at a time can be exported into a CSV file. Okay, right? So that's about PDF file connectivity. And now we just now exported a table into a CSV file. Now let's see how CSV files can be connected with Tableau. Okay, right? So let's say I have my data as a CSV file locally present in my system. How are we going to connect it with Tableau? Now, you can also try the same Excel file and PDF file connectivity with Tableau Public as well. Okay, right? So yes. Okay, so now when you look into my start page, there's no option called CSV over here. Okay, when you get into more as well, the database list is arranged in an alphabetical order, but there's nothing called CSV option, as in CSV file option, uh, that can be connected with Tableau. Okay, but you do have an option called text file. Okay, so when you click on text file, the dialog box appears, which is telling you, this space is telling you all text files .txt, .csv, .tab, and .csv. All files with these file extensions are treated as text files by Tableau. So whether it is a .txt file or a .csv file, you will have to click on text file in your start page, through which you are connecting CSV files as well with Tableau, right? Okay, so all these files are treated as text files by Tableau. So now get into the folder wherever you have. Now I have my sample CSV, the one that we just now exported into a CSV file. Okay, you can just select the file, click on open, and now you are being directed to the very same data source page from where you start working. I mean, from the way you work on the data, the way you start building your charts and graphs is absolutely going to be the same. Okay. Now, it is that simple connecting a CSV file with Tableau, but Tableau is trying to give an additional feature or additional option when you are working with text files, let it be .txt files or .csv files, right? Tableau is trying to give you an additional option when you are working with text files. Let's look into that particular option. Now, I'll tell you why this option is available. Now, when you look into a Excel file, if you're connecting one Excel file with Tableau, you may have n number of sheets present within that Excel file. Okay, so within one Excel file, you may have n number of Excel sheets. Similarly, within one PDF file, you may have n number of tables between which you can, create a join, create a union, and so on. Okay, but when you're working with text files, a text file itself is a table, right? A CSV file itself is a table. There's no case that we have multiple tables within a text file or multiple tables within a CSV file. Whereas when it comes to a Excel file or a PDF file, you have multiple sheets within an Excel file, multiple tables within an Excel file, multiple tables within one single database. But that's not the case when it comes to text files. So what Tableau does is, Tableau is giving this particular option when you're working with text files. Just click on text files, and I have a folder called my text file, within which I have.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Tableau online training and certification course mentored by industry experts. The course link of which is given in the description below. Now, let's continue with the session.
N number of, as in I have, multiple text files and CSV files. Okay, right? Now, out of these, let's say I am planning to connect something called LOD copy to, which is a text document, which is a TXT file. I'm planning to connect it with Tableau, right? So I'm clicking on the file that I'm planning to connect with Tableau. I'll click on open. So what will happen is, yes, LOD copy to will automatically be brought into the data source page. Okay, but
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of Tableau by answering this question. Which of the following is not a trend line model? A. Linear trend line. B. Exponential trend line. C. Binomial trend line. D. Logarithmic trend line. Comment your answer in the comment section below. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the right answer. Now, let's continue with the session.
yes, LOD sample is brought into the data source page, but in inclusive of LOD sample, you also have all the other text files, as in TXT files and CSV files that were present in the same folder, also brought into the data source page of Tableau. Though we wanted only LOD copy 2 to be connected with Tableau, we selected on only LOD copy 2 and then clicked on open. But it's not only LOD sample 2 that is connected with Tableau, but also all the other text files that were present in the same folder is brought into the data source page of Tableau. Okay, now why is Tableau giving us this particular option? Because if you're planning to join or create a union between tables present in multiple text files, you can definitely go ahead with that. You have all your text files present in the same folder brought into the data source page of Tableau. So now you can drag and drop them, join your tables, create a union between them, just like how we normally work with any other data set, right? So whenever you're connecting a text file, as in a TXT or a CSV file with Tableau, make sure that's the only text file in your folder. Otherwise, not only the selected file, but also all the other files present in the same folder will be brought into the data source page. Okay, right? Yes, now let me give you another example. Okay, now once again, when I click on text file, okay, now let's say, for example, you are planning to connect only one text file with Tableau. Okay, and you're not interested in in fetching in all the other text files also into the data source page because you feel it looks a little clumsy. Okay, you're planning to have only one text file to be connected with Tableau. In that case, you will have to plan beforehand, just like how I've already created a folder where I only have the text file that I am in need of. So now when I connect this file with Tableau, it's only going to be text sample 2 brought into my data source page, okay? Because that's the only text file that was present in that particular folder, okay? So this is how Tableau is letting you work with text files, okay? So let's say, for example, we'll quickly go through, some of the very commonly used servers or clouds. Okay, it's anyways the same way to connect data from any such server or any such cloud. Okay, now let's start with Google Sheets, for example. Right, so I have my data present within a Google Sheet. Right, so just click on Google Sheets. You'll be directed to a new browser tab. Within a few seconds, you'll be directed to a new browser tab where step 1 is to choose your Google account. Okay, opening up another workbook. Okay, that was about how you connect a Google Sheet with Tableau. Okay, now I'll open up another workbook. What if I have my database present in any other server or cloud? Okay, now as we all know, I'll not be able to use my organization's server where we may have confidential data, right? So what I'm going to do is I have this publicly accessible server in hand just for practice purpose. Okay, right? So all you need is the basic access credentials to get into the respective server or cloud. When you have these basic login credentials or basic access credentials in hand, you can easily get into the respective cloud or server and fetch the database that is to be connected with Tableau to proceed with your analysis. Okay. Right now, for example, let's say we have our SQL server. Okay, so when you click on Microsoft SQL Server, you will get an authentication dialog box. Okay, where you will have to specify the server name. Now, this server name, as I told you, this is a publicly accessible server name that I'm planning to use just for practice purpose. Okay, now this has a few sample databases, okay, within it, and it is just used for practice purpose, as I wouldn't be able to use my organization's server to explain or discuss during our session as of how to connect to any such server using or from Tableau, right? Okay, but this is not possible with Tableau Public because databases from servers or clouds cannot be connected with Tableau Public. Okay, so that is about these two modes. And you have two modes of connecting data only in Tableau Desktop. When it comes to Tableau Public, by default, it's only an extract mode of connection from where data can be, or with which data can be connected with Tableau Public. Okay, so we'll come back to it very soon. Filters, one of our interactive features available in Tableau. Okay, and you have a few icons and drop down menus and checkboxes available in this space in between the canvas area and the view area. Okay, now the first small icon says preview data source. We are viewing the data which actually belongs to the original data source. Tableau is acting as a mirror or a front-end tool which is just reflecting the data into its view area. Okay, you cannot edit your data in Tableau. You can only view the data through Tableau's workspace. Okay, the next small icon says manage metadata. Okay, now manage metadata. Metadata is the basic structure of your table. Okay, you have your field name, table, and the remote field name, three different columns. Table name is, the sheet or the table name to which these columns belong to. But what is the difference between field name and remote field name? In what way they differ from each other? Okay, now moving back to preview data source, I hope you remember we have options to rename column headers in Tableau, right? Renaming column headers is just for your convenience to work in Tableau. It is in no way going to affect the original data set. As I've already told you, you cannot edit your data in Tableau, right? You cannot make changes to your data in Tableau's workspace, but column headers can be renamed. Okay. For example, row ID can be renamed as RID. Okay. Now this doesn't mean this column in sample superstore will also be renamed as RID. This renamed column header is just for our convenience to work in Tableau. This is in no way going to affect the original data set. Okay, this is just available locally in Tableau's workspace for our convenience to proceed with the analysis. And now when you get into manage metadata, you'll be able to see field name is a column which is holding on to the new name, the renamed column header that we just now changed, whereas remote field name is still holding on to row ID. Okay, this means your remote field name is a column which is always reflecting the column header as per the original data set, whereas the field name column is holding on to the column header as per Tableau's workspace. So all the columns, will have the renamed names. In case you've renamed multiple columns, those names are going to be displayed under field name. And we have remote field name also over here, just for your reference purpose. You may have renamed columns n number of times as per your requirement. But at one point you might, you would like to refer to the original column header, okay, that was actually present for this particular column. So you can get into manage metadata and just go through this space, which is telling you the field name as per Tableau's workspace, and remote field name is holding on to the column headers as per the original data set. Okay, right. So that's about manage metadata. You can rename any column header, or you also have an option called reset name. There's this drop down arrow mark which is present above all the column headers, right? And the very first option when you click on the drop down arrow is rename. If you've already renamed a column, if you're trying to bring back its original name, you can get into reset name. So automatically it'll reset its name according to the column header in the original data set. Okay, that's about the manage metadata. Then we have sort fields. Okay, now you just have to make a note. It is only sorting the fields, in the sense it's only sorting the columns. Okay, there's this is not the option using which you sort your data. It's only sorting the columns. As of now, the columns are arranged according to the data source order. In the sense, in sample superstore, I have row ID first, then I have order ID, then order date, and so on. This is the order in which your columns are arranged in orders of sample superstore. Okay, so sort fields. The fields are by default sorted out as per the data source order. But if you want, you can sort them out in an A to Z ascending order, which means in an alphabetical order, right? So based on the column headers, the columns are rearranged in an alphabetical order. Okay, right? So that is again based on your requirement. If you want, you can rearrange the columns or sort the columns in a reverse alphabetical order. Okay, right? That is also possible. Okay, and apart from the first three options, we have two more: A to Z ascending per table and Z to A descending per table. Okay, right. So when we bring in multiple tables into the canvas area, you can use A to Z ascending per table or Z to A descending per table. Okay, and this is just about, these options are available just to sort or arrange your columns in your view area for your reference purpose. Okay, anyways, when you go inside your worksheet, when you click on sheet number 1, the columns are always arranged in an alphabetical order under tables in your data pane. We call this as the data pane. Okay, to the leftmost space in my worksheet. It's known as the data pane, where we have tables. The columns are always arranged in an alphabetical order when you move inside your worksheet space, right? So this sort fields is just for your reference purpose. You would like to go through the columns in your data set before you start your analysis, right? So you can just sort them out in an alphabetical order, go through the columns, okay? Basically get an idea what the data is all about within these columns with the help of your view area. Okay, that's about the sort fields option. And once again about renaming, I just double clicked on my column header, okay, which is going to let me rename the column header. Or you can also click on the drop down arrow present above any column header, right? So if you're planning to rename the column header for order ID, click on the drop down arrow and say rename. Okay, that's how you rename your column. Okay, and A to Z ascending or Z to A descending is nothing but you arrange them in an alphabetical order or a reverse alphabetical order depending on your column header. Okay, right? And if I get into A to Z ascending per table or Z to A descending per table, which means, I'll tell you, we'll have to first double click on orders, and then we'll have to start joining tables. So that is another major topic. We'll definitely come back to it because I wouldn't be able to explain much about it as of now, because we still have some basics to be discussed before we get into these points. But anyways, as you had asked me about sorting fields using A to Z ascending per table and Z to A descending per table, I just came up with this example. Okay, right now you have two tables, orders and the people table, right? So now when I get into A to Z ascending per table, now when you look into orders and people, out of orders and people, orders as an O comes first in your alphabetical order, right? So Tableau picks up the columns that belong to orders, arranges them in an alphabetical order, okay? And then once the columns of orders are arranged, it picks up the next table called people and arranges the column that belongs to people in an alphabetical order, right? So you have the table name, which is appearing right above the column header. Okay. Now, if I say A to Z ascending or Z to A descending, it's not per table, it's a general Z to A descending. So what will happen is columns from both orders and people will be taken into consideration, and they are going to be arranged in a reverse alphabetical order, right? So you have a few tables that belong to, or I mean, a few columns that belong to orders, and somewhere in between over here, you have a column that belongs to people, right? So no matter which table the column might belong to, they are taken into consideration and arranged in a reverse alphabetical order, right? So that's about A to Z ascending or descending per table that we have in the drop down menu. Okay, right? So how to reset the column header to original? Okay, so if in case you've renamed your column header, okay, you have the drop down arrow mark right above your column header, and the second option says if in case you had renamed your column, then only you will be able to have this particular option called reset name in your drop down menu. Okay, and okay, and if we have an idea of our college for Tableau desktop, now a minimum of 4 to 5 systems can simultaneously use the product key received with your college ID. Okay, the student version, the product key that you receive as a result of your student ID, you can use a minimum of 4 to 5 systems simultaneously, right? And we can't use SQL queries in public. Yes, we do not have. Now I'll open up Tableau Public. Tableau Public is limited to data. No servers or clouds can be connected with Tableau Public. Only files which are locally